Allons-y. So, what guitar is right for you? Do you have a guitar that's right for you? Dieter tries to help. I don't have a fancy studio set up here, but this is down and dirty. I try to help. So, I'm going to tell you how I picked my guitars and how I've seen other good players in stores, because I watch, Dieter likes to watch, you know, like the Peter Sellers character in that film from, what was it, the 80s or the 70s? Being There, with Peter Sellers, his character Chauncey Gardner. I like to watch. You learn a lot by watching and listening. 2, 2, 1. Some people talk too much, maybe even Dieter does sometimes. When nobody's perfect, so. I will tell you this though. I'm extremely happy with every guitar that I have. I've never sold one, and I never will. And I don't care who you are. You can offer me a really nice guitar. It might be better than, you know, what I have. I will not take it, because I'm happy with what I have. So, why am I happy with what I have? And this is, I love guitars, and I want guitar players to play, and I want you to play if you're new. Pros already have what they have, and they know what they want. Good for them. But I try to help people that are maybe starting, getting back into it like I am, and just want to enjoy themselves and have something that gives them pleasure. That's what it's about, music, making music, right? So, this is what I've noticed and what I do myself. Now, first of all, and I tell you this in all honesty, because I never lie. Never. Some people may disagree with me. I think I only lied once on my videos when I said something about being friends with George Harrison and having his last pair of underpants, but that was just a joke. So anyway, number one, don't care about the name. Never have. I have never, ever gone in and bought a guitar because of a name. Never. And that's why I'm happy with what I have. I will tell you the name now, because I bought that and I'm happy with it. But I have never gone in and bought a guitar. Any guitar. Because of its name. Thank you. She's talking back to me. This is my old 46-year-old Norman. Anyway, regardless of how much money you have, let's say you have a budget, 400, 600, 800,000, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, $5,000, okay? Because that's who I'm looking for. You know, $5,000 I think is a lot of money for a guitar. You should get something good for that, really good. Anyway, go to as many shops as you can, and you tell the people there, listen, this is what I have to spend. Now, they're going to try and sell you something. I don't care who they are. They'll say they're unbiased. No. Everybody is biased to some degree. So no. Show me what you have in the $500 range. 400, 450, 500, 550. That's what I want to see. Maybe it has 2, 3, 4. Okay? Now, maybe look them over beforehand, but maybe you better do this afterwards. Just see how they're built. Okay? Ask them about how they're built, and for the, you know, if it's a solid top, just the basic things that you should know. I explain them on other things, but that's what you should know. And then you ask them. They should have a room where you can go by yourself, and you take these 2, 3, 4, 5 guitars, and tell them to leave you alone for half an hour. And if you have questions, you'll call them in. They should do that. Now, the very important thing is make sure they're set up properly. You know, that the action is good, they have nice strings on it. They might not be the gauge you want, and if it's a $400 guitar, they might not be willing to change the strings. That's fine. You'll still get a good impression of the guitar. Then I suggest you close your eyes. Because I do this, I've seen other good players pick out guitars. They close your eyes, because as soon as you close your eyes, you're tuning out all this external noise and influence. and just listen to what you're playing. So close your eyes. Close your eyes. And play as best you can, similar things or the same thing on all the guitars. And you may go back and forth. You might find that especially at every price point you're looking at, that there are some of them. Okay, good, all right. But keep your eyes closed as much as possible, and you will listen. We all hear things differently. We all hear what we want to hear. And in my opinion, some people like a sound that I don't think is pleasing to my ears. If that's you, that's fine. I'm not going to say, maybe you should get your ears cleaned, but maybe you should get your ears cleaned. It's okay. You're buying this guitar for you, so it's going to make you happy, right? So that's the most important thing, I think. Play them, and don't look at the name. And you will probably, if you do that, and you're very honest with how you feel, the guitar should speak to you at some level. It should be a vibe you pick up on it. Maybe this one, it feels very comfortable to you. You will find, regardless of the price, if you have 3 or 4 or 5 guitars to pick from in the same price range, you will find one that just seems to do it for you. And if you don't, say thank you very much and go to the next shop if you can afford it. Okay? That's what you do. It's that simple. I have 28 guitars now, and I still would never. Someone say, "Oh, maybe Randy, you're getting older now. You should sell your guitars." I play them all. Sometimes I don't get around to them. I'll be honest, for a very long time. But every time I pull them out, and I rotate my guitars because I have limited space. But every time I pull it out, and I think, maybe I don't know, maybe I'm demented that day, or a little depressed, and I don't need this. But then I play it. And if I close my eyes, it always brings me back to that moment when I chose that guitar, or it chose me. You don't have to be a great player. At your ability, at your level. I mean, so many people, they're concerned about... listen, I call these, when I look at these videos, like, I call them love pages, You will see if there's a Martin review, all the Martin lovers are there. And this is the best guitar ever. Well, bullshit. If you think that, okay, fine. It's the best guitar for you. Best guitar ever? Fuck off. You don't know what it is. Nobody knows what it is. Or you go to a Taylor review. This Taylor page. Oh, the Taylor lovers are there. And then you go to the Larrivee page, the Larrivee lovers are there, and okay, fine. I love the fact, Dieter loves the fact that you love your guitar, okay? But to sit there and say, this is the best thing, and you have to have one. Why? I'm not you. You're telling me what I have to have. I don't tell you what you have to have. Well, good for you. Believe what you want to believe, okay? So I will say this. In my experience, I taught beginners, intermediates for quite some time, and I always tell true stories. So this is another true story. So this guy came in, and he worked with his hands. I have big hands, but my fingers aren't overly thick. I mean, I'm fat right now. I'm 40 pounds overweight. I'm the fattest I've been in my life. So that's something else. I don't want to blame COVID, but it made me lazy. So I have to get back into riding my bicycle and walk my dog more. But that's, you feel better when you physically feel better. So Dieter, memo to Dieter. Dieter, you get more exercise. So yeah, okay. So Dieter will get more exercise, see. So anyway, he came to me, and he was a total new guy. He was doing very well. He had lots of money. So I tried to help the guy. I said, listen, forget his name. This is a long time ago. I said, listen, you have very thick fingers. And I said, you should get a classical guitar to learn on. $400 one. Well, he kind of glared at me. Well, I just bought this for $4,500 up here. Eric Clapton signature model, and a $3,000 amplifier, and then I bought this other $4,000 Les Paul something model. So he'd already spent $12,000. And I kind of go, why? Didn't want to embarrass the guy, but why would you do that? He says, well, look, it's so. He thought there was something wrong with him, and I'm trying to help the guy. I said, listen, I said, you're not Eric Clapton. I said, do you know Eric Clapton? I don't know him, but I know that I think he's got kind of skinny fingers, right? I said, that's the guitar he plays. I said, you're not him. But I love him, I want to play like him. Well, okay, so I said, well, you spent $12,000. Why don't you spend $400 or $500 then and take your Eric Clapton guitar to a luthier and have him change the neck and make a wider neck for you. He looked at me like I was out of my mind. Really? But why? So, make a long story short, he started taking lessons from me. He didn't get a little classical. He could have got something like a La Patrie or Yamaha or a beginner's Alhambra guitar, probably for, at that time, this was like 15 years ago, probably could have got one for $300, $400 at the time, something that he could learn on. No, okay, you've already spent $12,000. So you don't want to throw good money after bad. I mean, the good money would have been to have spent $300 and get a classical guitar. I mean, so he could make some sounds. I'm telling you, he had sausage. Most of his, I'm not exaggerating, most of his fingers were like a thumb, my thumb. Pretty tough to play the guitar. I mean, there's a reason I don't play the violin and the mandolin, and I don't like particularly mandolins or ukuleles. I can't play them. My hands are too big. I like playing bass and I like playing, guitars. And more often than not, I pick up my nylon string guitars because they're 2 inches wide at the nut. It's for me. You might be a really great player. I'm happy for you, but I mean, most of us will get better. First of all, I do believe some people are truly gifted. They're touched by God or whatever. That's great. But let's be honest, they're what, less than 1% of the players out there, and they're amazing to listen to, and thank God we have them. But the average Joe like me and maybe you, well, we have to work at it a bit. So you are well served, and you will enjoy your guitar experience much more if you get something that you can actually learn on and that you can actually manipulate, right? If you have small hands and you want a parlor or a 3/4 size guitar, good for you if that's what works, right? What the fuck, this name shit and all this shit. So anyway, this was funny because I was working at a place. I was one of the teachers there, one of the 2 guitar teachers. So anyway, he was my student for a couple of months, and then I heard him once. My door was open for the next, and he went to complain to my boss. He says, I didn't know about your guitar teacher there. He says, I've been coming for 3 months now, and I still can't play anything. So I heard this, and I was upset because I was bending over backwards to try and help this. So I called him and I said, excuse me, come here. So I heard what you said. I said, I don't appreciate it, because 1, I said, you haven't taken my advice, and 2, you don't practice. It's obvious to me you don't practice. So are you the kind of person, I mean, after that he was gone. So what? I don't care. I said, you're criticizing me, but you have not done one thing I've asked you to do. Not one. I said, you don't practice. I said, I don't care how much money you have. And I really think there are people, I'm not knocking people with money, but I really think if money fucks some people up. I really think that this guy, in the back of his mind, thought somewhere, well, if I spend the money, the playing will come. No, the playing will come if you have some ability and you practice, that's when the playing will come. I mean, all these things I do, they're not rehearsed. I mean, some of my videos, I make mistakes. Up early in the morning, I've broken my nails. I mean, I'm not saying it to make excuses. I'm just being honest with you. I'm telling you, like, when you play fingerstyle, and you're used to your nails, yeah, if you break one right off, it affects your playing. Anyone will tell you that. Anyway, I'm just trying to steer you people that might be interested in this into thinking for yourself and doing what's best for you. Because at the end of the day, if you're forced into buying something because you play in a band that the guys have Martins, and they tell you, well, I have a Martin, you have to get a Martin. And if that Martin isn't right for you, or that Taylor isn't right for you, not because of the name, but because of the size of the guitar or something, or there's lots of little things that come into play, like the string gauge and the action. It might not be right for you. So tell these people politely to fuck off, right? Are they helping you? Not really. Not really. Okay. Another thing that happened to me once, about 6-7 years ago, I was at an open mic, and I hate those things. They're run by some people, and they always get their friends, they play more, they get more chances, but I did get a chance to play 2 songs, and I had my Godin Nylon Multi-Act. I played something that was quite nice, fingerstyle, I forget what it was, but some people liked it. So after I was done, this guy comes up to me and goes, "That guitar, it sounds amazing. The guitar, it sounds amazing. What kind of guitar is that?" So I showed him. I said, "Here, you want, I don't lend my guitars, but if I'm there and the guy's not drunk," I said, yeah, I'll try to help. I said, "Here, play it." He wouldn't touch it. I said, "No, come on, please play it." The point I'm making is I'm not a great player, and but interestingly enough, there was a good player there who noticed that I offered. So he said, could I play your guitar? And he played it and loved it. So great, He says, "Wow, I'll have to look at these. I've never actually seen a guitar like that." Now I don't know if he bought one or not, but good, Here, play it. He could play well, and he liked it. So my point is this: if Eric Clapton is going to sound like Eric Clapton on any guitar he plays. Doesn't matter what it is. Tommy Emmanuel will sound like Tommy Emmanuel on any guitar he plays. David Gilmour will sound like David Gilmour on any guitar he plays. A good classical player will sound like a good classical player on any guitar he plays. Now, when I say any guitar, I said any guitar that's just decent and properly set up, that is going to sound good. So what I'm saying to you is, if you say, "Wow, geez, this guy," just fill in the blanks, put the name of the guitarist you like, and say, "Well, if this guy or woman, or if this guy or gal can make that sound like that, then if I practice, I should be able to sound pretty good." So if this person that you admire is getting a great sound out of a $700 guitar and says, "Hey, this is $700, and I'd be happy to play with it. It wouldn't bother me to. I don't have to fight it." Well, why do you have to spend more? The usual thing is as people get better, players get better, then they buy nicer things. Do they necessarily need them? No. They just better. So, hey, I'm going to treat myself. This is a reward for me, practicing for, 3,000 hours last year. Good for you. Good for you. Whatever name is on that thing, I don't give a shit, right? So what I'm saying is, when you go in there, I know it might be intimidating, especially if you're a newbie, but don't get intimidated. There's lots of good information on the internet if you take the time to research and always ask yourself when you look at a video, okay, is this guy trying to sell me something? Is he being paid? Because that does influence things. Or is he giving me the honest dirt on this thing, right? So as my Oh yeah, and the other thing I was going to say, only 2 times in my life have I ordered a guitar sight unseen. One was a Yamaha Classical, and the other was my Godin Montreal. But I did some research, and I knew that the Yamaha Custom Shop made good classicals, because I researched and watched a lot of good players who played Yamaha Classicals, and I actually knew a guy who had an older model of the classical that I ordered, and his was very nice. So I was pretty sure I wouldn't be disappointed, and I wasn't. And the same with my Godin Montreal. I wanted a guitar like that, and I knew and talked to a guy who had one like that. He didn't let me play it, that's his prerogative. But I had a pretty good idea that I'd like it. So I ordered it, and guess what? I liked it. That's basically what I'm trying to tell you guys. So, and the other thing is, I will tell you, in all honesty, the guitars I have, these were not snap decisions. Sometimes I looked at, I would say, okay, I'm looking for this, and I would go to this shop and see what they had, and I'd go, okay. Then next week or a month later, I'd go to this shop, and sometimes it took me up to 6 months to a year. But every guitar that I bought, I had compared it to a minimum in the same price range, a minimum of 6 or 7. That's I was trying to be thorough, and so I think that's why I'm happy with my guitars, and why I would never sell any of my guitars, because they were carefully picked out. They weren't impulsive buys. So this, I have to say, it was my friend Cheryl Crow says, right? If it makes you happy, it can't be that bad. And if it makes you happy, then why the hell are you so sad? Sayonara, and have fun picking out the guitar that's best for you. Yeah. Wiedersehen.